Hey, what's up everyone? Bill Lethman here for Money Evolution. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Social Security spousal benefits. So this video here today is part of a new series that I'm updating for 2019 where I'm talking all about Social Security. If you'd like to check out some of the other videos in the series, we'll have some links down in the description below this video. So if you're planning for retirement, then you probably already understand just how important your Social Security benefits and your Social Security strategy is to your overall retirement planning. So hopefully the information that we're going to provide in this video is going to give you some things to think about when you're talking about coordinating your Social Security benefits with your spouse. So let's jump right in. Okay, so who's eligible for Social Security spousal benefits? Well, if you're currently married, even if you don't qualify for Social Security benefits based off of your own work record, you are going to be entitled to a Social Security spousal benefit. Also, if you were married, as long as that marriage lasted for at least 10 years, even if you're currently single right now, you still may be able to collect a Social Security spousal benefit from that ex-spouse. Now, I go into a whole lot more detail about that, and there's a lot of other things that go along with that, but I recorded a video. Again, that link is going to be down in the description below where you can access an in-depth discussion about Social Security benefits from an ex-spouse. Okay, so your Social Security spousal benefits are going to be worth up to 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount. So just a quick refresher on that, the primary insurance amount, that is the amount of your Social Security benefit that you're entitled to at your full retirement age. So in other words, when your spouse decides to start collecting their benefit is not going to impact at all how much you're going to get from a spousal benefit. So just to refresh on that as well, remember you can take your Social Security benefits as early as age 62 at a discounted rate, or you can delay them past your full retirement age and earn delayed retirement credits all the way to age 70. So again, when your spouse decides to start collecting their benefits is not going to impact how much you get. One other criteria that has to be met in order for you to be able to collect a Social Security spousal benefit is your spouse has to have actually filed for their own benefit. And that's something that changed here recently as part of the 2015 Bipartisan Budget Act. So you used to be able to do something called file and suspend. That's something maybe you've heard about. Well, file and suspend was eliminated. If you didn't do a file and suspend before April 30th of 2016, that no longer exists. But what it essentially did was allowed one spouse to go ahead and file for their own benefit and then immediately suspend that benefit so they could continue to earn delayed retirement credits, but it triggered an event that allowed that other spouse to be able to start collecting their own spousal benefit. The other change that occurred as part of that Budget Act and the changes to Social Security was with regard to what's called a restricted application. So a restricted application allowed a spouse to go ahead and collect, let's say, spousal benefits only, but then continue to let their own benefit grow. And this was something that was kind of nice because it allowed some money to start coming into the household while still potentially maximizing the other component of their own Social Security benefit. So in the 2015 Budget Act, they have now started to phase this out. So now you had to turn age 62 before December 31st of 2015. So there's still maybe a few people out there that may qualify for that, but pretty much everybody else is not going to be able to do that. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is now when you go to collect your Social Security benefits, the Social Security Administration is now going to deem you to have filed for all benefits that you're eligible for, which includes not only those spousal benefits potentially, but your own benefit as well. So you're not going to be able to just kind of pick and choose like you used to be able to. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about here before I start getting into how your Social Security spousal benefits are actually calculated, start talking about some examples and maybe a couple of strategies, is I want to talk about how when you decide to collect those spousal benefits is going to impact how much you're actually going to get. So just like your regular benefits, your own benefits, if you collect those spousal benefits early, they are going to be reduced. So if your full retirement age, let's say, is age 67, and you decide to turn those spousal benefits on as early as you possibly can at age 62, it's going to be reduced to 32.5%. Remember, you can get as much as 50% for your spousal benefit, but that's going to be about a 35% reduction from the amount that you'd be entitled to at your full retirement age. Now, just kind of contrast that to your own benefit. So your spousal benefits do take a little bit bigger of a hit if you collect those early, because your own benefit, if you took that early, is only going to be reduced by 30%. So a little bit of a difference there that you need to know about. So now let's talk about how those Social Security benefits are going to actually be calculated. We're going to start here with 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount. And then what we're going to do is we're going to subtract your own full retirement age benefit, or your primary insurance amount. And then that difference is going to be the spousal benefit that you'd be entitled to at your own full retirement age. Okay, so now let's put some numbers to this. Look at an example. Okay, so let's say your spouse's primary insurance amount is $3,000 a month. And let's say you've had a pretty decent work history, and at your full retirement age, you're entitled to $1,000 a month. So here's how this calculation would go. So half of your spouse's primary insurance amount obviously would be $1,500 a month. So that's the maximum benefit that you'd be entitled to from both your own benefit and then also adding in those spousal benefits if you wait until your own full retirement age. So we're going to subtract that $1,000 a month from the $1,500, and that means your actual spousal benefit component of that is $500 a month. So now let's say you want to collect your Social Security benefits as early as you possibly can at age 62. And for purposes of this example, we're going to assume that your spouse has already filed for their own benefit, and that way that's triggering the spousal benefits that you're going to be eligible for. So what we want to do here as we figure this out is we want to calculate separately the amount of reduction that you're going to take on your own benefit, and then separately calculate the amount of reduction that you're going to have on the spousal benefit, and then add those two numbers together. And the reason we do that, again, is because the amount of reduction that you're going to take for early collection on your own benefit is going to be different than the amount of reduction that you're going to take for those spousal benefits. So again, let's say you're taking, let's say you have $1,000 a month full retirement age benefit, and if you collect those as early as you possibly can at age 62, you're going to have a 30% reduction, meaning that you're going to be able to collect $700 a month based off of your own work record. Now your spousal benefit, again, if you waited till your full retirement age, would be worth up to $500, but if you collect that early, you're going to take a 35% hit on that. So it's going to drop from $500 a month down to $325 a month. And again, we're assuming here that your full retirement age is 67. If your actual full retirement age is only 66, it might be a little bit different than that. So when we add those two numbers together by collecting early, your own benefit plus that spousal benefit is going to be worth $1,025 a month. Okay, so now let's take a look at a slightly different scenario using some of the same data that we just went through. So remember, one of the contingencies for you to be eligible for spousal benefits is that your spouse has to have actually filed for their own benefit. So if they haven't filed yet, you're not even going to be eligible for a spousal benefit. So let's take a scenario where maybe your spouse decides to delay taking their own Social Security benefits. Maybe they want to earn some delayed retirement credits, or maybe it's a scenario where your spouse is a little bit younger and maybe they're not even eligible for Social Security benefits yet. So at that time, if you wanted to collect Social Security benefits early, let's say at age 62, you would then only be entitled to your own benefit. And again, it would be at a reduced amount using those same figures there. It would be reduced by 30% from $1,000 a month, which is the amount at your full retirement age, down to just $700 a month. So now what we need to know is that as soon as your spouse goes and files for their own benefit, that's going to trigger those spousal benefits to kick in. And depending on what age you are at that time, that's going to dictate how much of a spousal benefit you're going to get. But let's say that your spouse maybe, for whatever reason, maybe a little bit younger, maybe they don't start collecting their own benefit until after you've reached your own full retirement age. So remember, if you waited until your full retirement age, you're going to be eligible for a $500 spousal benefit. So as long as your spouse waits until after your full retirement age to turn on their benefit, you're going to be entitled to get that maximum amount. And in that case, that's going to raise the amount that you're getting every month from $700 a month based off of just your own work record, but then that extra $500 is going to kick in from the spousal benefit, bringing that total up to $1,200 a month. So I know that gets a little bit detailed there, but hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so what are some strategies that you should be thinking about as you're looking at ways to kind of coordinate your Social Security benefits with your spouse? Obviously, as you're probably gathering from some of the things I've talked about so far in the video, there's almost an endless number of possibilities or combinations of how you collect benefits along with your spouse. But here's a couple of things to think about. So number one is I think you want to think about your cash flow. Do you need the money? You also want to consider taxes. In fact, I get into a lot more detail on this in another video where I talk about when when you should start collecting your Social Security benefits. Again, that link's going to be right below the video where you can access that. But here's a couple things to think about. Number one is I think it's usually a very good strategy to have at least one of the spouses try to maximize as much as possible their Social Security benefit. Usually it's the higher wage earning spouse, the one that has the bigger Social Security benefit. And the reason for that is even though spousal benefits are not dependent on when that spouse actually starts collecting benefits, the survivor benefit is actually going to be the amount that that person was actually collecting, or the amount that they would have been eligible for at the time of their death. So if they decided to collect Social Security benefits as early as possible at age 62, not only does that kind of reduce their own benefit for the rest of their life, but if something should happen to them, and if they're the higher Social Security recipient, that's going to give their spouse a much lower survivor benefit as well. So that's something to think about. The other thing to think about too is sometimes as we're trying to maximize one of the spouse's Social Security benefits, it might be advantageous or might make sense for maybe that lower wage earning spouse to go ahead and turn their benefit on early, even if it does mean it's at a reduced amount. That way, at least there's some cash flow coming in, and they're maybe able to kind of meet some of that cash flow needs there. So anyway, I got into a little bit more in depth on this video here. I hope this all makes sense. I hope you're getting some valuable information. Remember, if you like what we're doing here, please hit that like or subscribe button, and look out for some of the other videos that we're doing. Check out the links below, and I'll see you back here in one of my next videos. Thanks. Have a great day.